Hi, I'm Gerald Bentley. This is LVWS Confidential. Today, we're joined by a person who gives new meaning to the term ring psychology. CLAS, thanks for stepping into the ring with us.
Always a pleasure. I never turn down an opportunity to talk about myself, so happy to be here.
Now, am I correct? I'm pretty sure you are the only clinical psychologist professional wrestler.
I think that's the case. I know Britt Baker's a dentist in AEW, but other than that, I don't know of anyone who has their doctorate degree, let alone is actively practicing while actively wrestling. So that makes me one in a generation, one in a million, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think only you and Dr. Britt Baker DMD. I don't think Isaac Yankem was actually a real doctor.
Thank goodness for that, right?
Yeah, no, he probably wouldn't have. It would have been hard for him to say he was practicing pain-free dentistry.
Exactly.
How did that combination come about? I'm sure I could ask Britt Baker the same question, but how did clinical psychologist and professional wrestler come together and come to be?
Yeah, I mean, so just to kind of set the foundation of it, everything I've ever done or wanted to do has always been to the 10th degree, to the highest level. And so my going through college, I knew that I was interested in getting into the medical field. I made the choice to go through psychology. And from the time I made that decision, there was no other option other than to get the highest degree possible, the doctorate degree. And so I made the decision. I went through. I did it in very, very quick record time. And along the way, I had the opportunity to go train in a wrestling camp for a week in Missouri while I was in undergrad. And it went great. And I, growing up, becoming a wrestler would have been something I would have been very, very excited about. And yet when you grow up, no one really tells you how to become a professional wrestler. And so like this opportunity kind of fell into my lap. I went and did that. And then when I moved down to Scottsdale for grad school, there's wrestling training in the area. And so, I was like, well, if I turn 40, never tried it, I know I'll be great at it, I'm going to hate myself. And so I gave it a shot, and then it's just kind of escalated from there.
Where did you go to undergrad in Missouri?
So I went to undergrad in Nebraska, actually, University of Nebraska at Kearney. And the camp we went to was Harley Race's camp in Missouri.
Okay.
So that was the closest training program I was aware of. It was like 7.5 hours away. It wasn't really a realistic option at that point as I was finishing school. But it did open the door and kind of give me some insight on how to then pursue the professional wrestling aspect of things.
Who are the trainers that were working with you there?
Down there, so we were down there for a week. Harley Race was there, obviously. They brought in Dr. Tom. They brought in Steamboat. They brought in members from New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. And then Michael Elgin was there. He was one of the guest trainers. And then a number of other, indie guys. And everyone was kind of coming together to try and get looked at by New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. And so me being one of the few who had never run the ropes, taken a bump or anything, we were in the beginner kind of stage of things. And so we got to see and just learn and listen to a lot of stuff. And it was extremely, extremely rewarding, exciting, and very cool to be a part of for sure.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Now, with your background, I was joking that you give new meaning to the term ring psychology, but there is a lot of psychology that goes into the wrestling match. Is there some crossover? I mean, I think you have more of a crossover in clinical psychology than Dr. Britt Baker does with dentistry.
100%. So, I mean, looking at a lot of the people who come into this business and now being a part of a great training organization here in Arizona, seeing all the people that come into it and who progress through it, it takes people a very long time to understand what we call wrestling in-ring psychology. And I had the advantage, one, I'm like very intelligent. You don't become a doctor without being intelligent. And so easily, and then also having my career as a psychologist and understanding how the mind works and understanding what the fans are going to perceive and what they're looking at, that's going to give me a leg up. And it did give me a leg up. And it continues to do that, not only with what I'm doing in there, but how I then pick apart my opponents. There's no matter who gets in the ring with me, this is going to be my advantage 100%. And oh, by the way, I also look great and I'm very strong and in great shape too, so it's kind of a total package situation.
Now, coming up on January 7th, as you're competing for that Phoenix Championship belt, you're going to be going up against Dom Vitalli in the first round. Have you ran into Dom before in the ring? Because this is going to be an interesting matchup. You have the clinical psychology of CLAS going up against the motivational skills of Dom and the never say lose mentality. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, so we have a term for people like Dom in my field. It's called a charlatan. It's someone who practices and teaches something with no prior qualifications to do so. And so, yeah, he's motivating from what angle? What's the point of what he's doing? He's blowing fluff up a bunch of people's butts, and he's acting like he's got all this knowledge and all this insight, but what has he really done with his life? Someone like that who's doing life coaching, which is, again, a charlatan organization, a charlatan practice, they're laughed out of the room in circles like I run in. And so, he can motivate himself. He can motivate whoever he wants to as much as he possibly can. But at the end of the day, I've got the brains, I've got the experience, and I'm going to pick that old man apart. And so the other thing to think about too, I'm undefeated in Phoenix Championship Wrestling. Since the absolute beginning of that company, I have not lost a single match. And I've taken out plenty of old geezers just like him. John Lyon, Sin Bodhi. I'm forgetting one. Oh, I think he was a 2-time WWE Intercontinental Champion, Val Venus.
Yeah.
So the list goes on, and he's just going to be another notch on the old belt loop.
So what you're saying is, even academic and clinical excellence notwithstanding, just based on your in-ring record, you should be looked at as the favorite in this event.
There's no reason I shouldn't be. I mean, look, Dom's been around for a while. He's been a name in Arizona for a long, long time, and he's got a nice reputation behind him. But he isn't undefeated. He's lost a lot. He's not in as good a shape as I am. And going back to that charlatan practice of his little motivational BS that he spews to everyone, he's all fluff at this point. His knees aren't going to hold up. His back's not going to hold up. I don't see this one going too long and being too big of an issue for me. So very much looking forward to putting old Dom the Bomb in his place. Very much.
Well, once you move past Dom, who's the biggest challenge in the field? Who do you see as the biggest obstacle to winning the title?
I mean, again, going back, no matter who I face, I'm going to have the psychological advantage, the mental advantage over anyone. I think, looking at the field, there's a lot of great competitors. You got Toa Leona, you got Graves, you've got who else? Wolfgang,
Remy Marcel.
Wolfgang, he runs on batteries provided by the fans. They love him for some reason. We've had some words about that, and also once he gets punched in the mouth, it's going to be a different story. But there's a lot of great competitors. I don't see any of them outthinking me, outsmarting me, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night, and at the end of the night, the best man's going to win. I've been the best man thus far, and I will continue to be the best man after. So expect it to be CLAS.
First class. And then I see you've kind of ventured over into FSW as well. What's bringing you down to Las Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the very beginning, everything I do, I'm successful at. And so, looking at the places to work that are in driving distance from Scottsdale, you got FSW in Las Vegas, you got PCW Ultra in LA, and those are, for my money, the best shows around. And so coming into FSW about 2 years ago now, and what happened? I won the class in the case very quickly. I became the Nevada State champion very quickly, and then I've been out with an injury for the past year. So I mean, kind of came, saw, and conquered, and now I'm going back for round 2, starting last night actually. So
yeah,
looking forward to more success and making wrestling great again.
Yeah, at the season beating show, you made your return to FSW, trying to raise the level of class in the organization.
Yep.
Put an added class to Future Stars of Wrestling.
Exactly.
Are you going to be involved actively in FSW now moving forward as well?
Well, that's kind of the plan, isn't it? I mean, you
Sure.
saw, whoever was there last night saw how well we did with my my wonderful half brother Devin Reno, and we tried to recruit Cruz to come with us, and he made a terrible decision. You saw how that worked out for him, not very well. And so my half brother and I are going to be taking over whatever it is we decide to do in FSW, and so expect to see quite a lot of us in the coming months.
Sounds good. And now getting back to
Okay,
Arizona, we have our friend Wolfgang. What do you see coming up with him? Is that going to be an ongoing challenge, or is he's just a step beneath you and it's not really much of a factor?
Here's my issue with Wolfgang. So like I said at the beginning, he has the support of the fans. They absolutely love him. And the reason they love him is the reason that he drives me up a wall. It's because he's very, very similar to them. So he's a guy who has no business being in a professional wrestling ring, and yet he thinks he works really hard. He thinks he does this. He thinks he does that. And he's earned the respect of the fans because for some reason, somewhere along the line in the sport, it changed where people want to see individuals wrestle that are just like them. Well, the wrestling that I grew up on, the wrestling that I'm a fan of, the guys in the ring were exceptional people that you looked up to and helped you become a better person. Not that you looked at and said, yeah, that guy's just like me. What a guy, I kind of see some of myself in him. And Wolfgang is that. And it's disgusting. And so in that picture you showed, he came in after my match. He had no business being there. He came in and started knocking me around when I had my back turned to him. Typical good guy, huh? No.
Yeah, that's not right for the good guy. He shouldn't be doing that.
I did nothing wrong. I was finishing my match, having words with the opponent that I'd beaten just then. And here he comes out of left field and causing a ruckus. And so when him and I, if we have the chance to wrestle, it's not going to go well for him. And everyone is going to see an individual in myself who they need to root for, because a lot of these people that come to the wrestling shows, they're not in higher education. They don't make a lot of money. They're just like Wolfgang. They're going to work their 50 to 70K job for the rest of their life. They're going to punch the clock, and they need someone like me to look up to, someone to make them better, someone to show that you can become a doctor and a professional wrestler in record time and be successful in both, and you can do more. And so after I dispatch a Wolfgang, I'm going to give them a new hero to root for. And so I don't know if we'll end up facing up against one another, but I for certain hope that we do, so I can show them what a phony he is as well.
Now, have you gotten any new patients that were fans at the Phoenix Championship Wrestling? Have you won over any converts?
Not yet. No new patients who are fans. And thankfully at the clinic I work at, we've got plenty of security and police on staff. And so they always, I had to befriend them because I don't want to get locked in an office with a rabid fan who, might not like me. And so thankfully, knock on wood, it hasn't happened yet, but who's to say it won't.
That's good. Now, hey, you mentioned the wrestlers that you followed were aspirational figures, people you aspired to be like. Who was the most inspirational wrestler to you?
Well, I mean, for me, you have to start with The Rock. That was the first wrestler that I just was enamored with. And, look what he's done with his life, and look at the guys from that era, what they've done with their life. And then look at the guys from the era before, when all the success that they've had and all these different things. And they were doing things and becoming people who the normal person who's punching the clock on 9 to 5 every single day, they had no aspirations to be here. They couldn't become that person. They understood that because this person had such a unique skill set that set them apart from everyone. And so for me, it starts it starts exactly with The Rock, and that just kind of epitomizes what I think professional wrestling should be. And I believe that's the way it gets better and gets great again, when we have people who are exceptional people going into professional wrestling and giving people that kind of star aura to look up to, as opposed to the common man.
So besides yourself and Dr. Britt Baker DMD, who would you say is on that level? Who's worthy of your attention in the ring now?
Well, there's a lot of great talent out there, and I think someone I'm close in proximity and in friendship with is Hammerstone. You got to look at him. He's one of the few world champions in this world of professional wrestling, and the things he is doing are absolutely incredible. And so he's someone I can easily go to and be very impressed by, and love to get in the ring with him again too, for sure.
Well, that would be a good FSW championship match.
It would be. It'd be very good. Yeah.
Now, we do have got the Phoenix Championship show on January 7th, but we're coming up on Christmas, New Year's. Go ahead and wind down here, do our championship round for the LVWS Confidential title. What's your Christmas wish for everybody watching?
My Christmas wish for everybody watching. Great question. My Christmas wish is for you all to find a new role model that's a little bit better than the one you have now. Whoever that is, I want you to look up to someone who is exceptionally better than you. Spend more time with people that are better than you. Be around people who are smarter than you, more athletic than you. Spend time with people who are better than you in order to make yourself a better person. Take accountability for your actions. Improve your life, improve your standing, look up to someone like me, and you'll be a better person because of it.
I kind of thought that's where that was ending. Now, what about a Christmas wish for yourself?
Christmas wish for myself. Well, since we have the show coming up on January 7th here in Arizona for the PCW AZ Heavyweight Championship, I'm going to wish that I get the belt. And I know it's not good luck to share your wish. And also, I don't really need luck. I've never really needed luck. Everything that I've gotten, I put in the time, I put in the effort, and it just comes to me. And so I am that confident that I'm sharing my wish with you all because I know it's a foregone conclusion.
Well, and in graduate school and doctorate school, they don't teach luck.
They don't what?
They don't teach luck.
They don't
it's
teach
not a
luck.
matter of luck. No, it's skill, it's work, it's knowledge.
Exactly.
Which you're going to bring to the match. So sure, that's fair. Now, one more question. Your goal in 2023 in wrestling?
Goal 2023 is travel the country a little bit more, get in different organizations, whether it's MLW, whether it's AEW, whether it's doing a tryout with WWE, doing different things, getting out there more, traveling a little bit more. Now that my shoulder's all good to go and healed up, it's been about 2 years since I've had a healthy shoulder, so I'm really looking forward to hitting the ground running and getting out there, showing everyone why I'm the one to make wrestling great again.
Excellent. Good goal moving into the new year, and perfectly good Christmas wish and gift to everybody. They can get the gift of getting to watch CLAS raise the level of class in professional wrestling.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And coming up on January 7th, could be looking at the new Phoenix Heavyweight Champion.
We'll be looking at the new Phoenix Heavyweight Champion.
Give it voice, right?
That's right.
CLAS, thanks a lot for joining us, stepping into the ring here on LVWS Confidential. And we'll be looking forward to seeing the results of the January 7th show. And, of course, following you in FSW in Las Vegas.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.